Shakur has more to lose here. Shakur is the one that's thought of as, like you said, pound for pound number one day, maybe someday in the not too distant future. He's the favorite in this fight, bigger favorite than anything any of us anticipated, at around 3.5 to 1. But Teo, look, what I look at here is I think Teofimo, yes, he's had problems with boxers, which scares me for Teo, but I'm going to use your word, Max, fast twitchies.
Frightening theory is circulating in boxing right now. It has nothing to do with knockout power or raw strength. It's about the idea of the impossible fighter. This is the type of athlete who doesn't just defeat opponents, but completely erases them, making it seem like they never belonged in the ring to begin with. We've seen this phenomenon before, first with Pernell Whitaker, then with Floyd Mayweather. And now, according to ESPN veteran and boxing analyst Max Kellerman, that legacy has been passed on to one man, Shakur Stevenson.
How do you envision it? I mean, I'm sure you played it out in your mind a bunch of times already.
Me just making a great fighter look average. That's how I see it.
Are you gonna fight like the Zepeda way? Because that was the first time we see you fight like that.
I can't tell you how I'm gonna fight. I fight different styles for different people.
Yeah.
So I may fight this way for this guy. I may fight the other way for another guy. But my main objective is...
Here's the twist that makes January 31st so compelling. The unbeatable Ghost is finally stepping into the ring with the one fighter who thrives on destroying legends. Teofimo Lopez is a walking contradiction. Against average opponents, he can look ordinary, sometimes even flawed. But when he faces a boxing god, he transforms into a monster. Max Kellerman and the Ring Magazine panel recently broke this matchup down. And what they delivered wasn't a prediction, it was a warning. This won't be a normal fight. It's a collision of styles, and when it's over, one career will be changed forever.
Fight. The best fighting the best. Both fighters believe that this matchup settles the argument about who leads the new era. So what do we think of the styles matchup, guys? This is a high-speed chess match a la Sugar Ray Leonard or Pernell Whitaker, Leonard and Benitez, or Pernell Whitaker, Buddy McGirt, or is it a Jerry versus Jerry fight, right? Because no one wants to take the lead, or is it something?
Max Kellerman's case for Shakur Stevenson isn't about speed, because speed fades, it's about mastery. Shakur has refined the technician's style to the point where he's almost impossible to hit or even score against. Kellerman compares him to Pernell's Sweet Pea Whitaker, a defensive genius who could stand right in front of opponents and make them miss by inches. Shakur doesn't gamble or take risks. He dissects. For Teofimo Lopez, a fighter who relies on rhythm and explosive counters, this is the worst possible matchup, a Ghost who wants a shutout, not just a win, and plans to make you swing at air. For 36 minutes.
Malik, I'll start with you.
I think it's a very special fight. It's the type of matchups we always are asking for. When it comes to explosiveness, I would have to go with Teo. When it comes to actual rapid speed, I would have to go with Teo. But when it comes to body punching, when it comes to good timing, when it comes to craft, I would have to give all of that to Shakur Stevenson.
What do you think, Doug?
They're both boxers. I look at Stevenson as a versatile technician. I look at Teofimo. He's a boxer puncher, but his specialty is his counter punching. Listen, if Stevenson wants to be on his stick and move game, very difficult style matchup for Teofimo, and maybe not that entertaining to the fans.
Because Stevenson's longer.
Exactly.
Stevenson's defense probly the best in the game,
and he's longer. Great reflexes and timing, and so does Teo. That's why he's a great counter puncher. But Teo's, he's a very special athlete, and as a competitor, he is one of those guys who saves his A game for a fellow elite opponent. That's when he really rises his game and shows us the Teofimo Lopez that everybody thought he was when he was a prospect. People used to look at him and say, oh, this guy is going to be the star in boxing. It didn't really play out that way, but every now and then.
This is where things get strange. Looking at Teofimo Lopez's recent record, you'd think he has no chance. He struggled badly against Sander Martin and looked flat against Jermaine Ortiz. The whispers have grown louder, claims that Teofimo has lost it, that his mindset is fragile, and that pressure has finally cracked him. Many fans are already writing him off as damaged goods.
Theo said that your defense isn't as elite as people think it is.
It's impeccable.
I disagree with him, but he said he don't think it's as impeccable as people think it is.
I mean, he ain't been in there with me to know whether how good it is, a good sparring ain't gonna tell. We did 3 rounds. That shit ain't. He couldn't barely hit me then. So I'm not taking nothing from the sparring, but he don't know how good I am. Like, you don't know how good my defense is until come January 31st.
He pretty much said your style of boxing. He said he's beat hundreds of fighters with your style.
200 southpaws.
200 southpaws.
Undefeated against southpaws.
But he said it's light work.
Man,
Well,
that's
what
the
his
thing
pop
where he gotta like pay attention to, cause like, yeah, you did good with some southpaws, but then there are southpaws you did bad with. So it's not just okay. I beat Lomachenko and Josh Taylor, but then you fought Jermaine Ortiz and Sandor Martin, and they are 2 southpaws who both gave you trouble. So
that's a good point.
it gave him confidence to beat them bigger guys that got the bigger names, but his confidence went down when he fought them other guys. So truthfully, all that southpaw shit, that shit sound good, but what you gonna do when you get in front of me?
The panel dug deeper into the Teofimo paradox. The truth is, Lopez is bored by mediocrity. He often plays down to his competition. Yet when he faces an unbeatable fighter, everything changes. Against Vasily Lomachenko, who was seen as a boxing god, no one gave Teofimo a chance until he showed a level of focus and violence we'd never seen and took the belts. The same thing happened against undisputed champion Josh Taylor, where Teofimo was written off again and still dominated. Kellerman argues that Teofimo saves his again for the elite. He needs fear to function, and facing Shocker Stevenson may be the ultimate trigger, meaning we could see a version of Lopez on January 31st that hasn't appeared in years.
In both fights where he won the Ring Magazine Championship, he was the underdog. 4-1 underdog against Lomachenko. People forget, Lomachenko was taking elite fighters in the lower divisions and they were quitting.
Yes.
He was beating them into some, they were like, I can't do this, right? And Teofimo beat him, right? He outboxed him.
Yeah, he didn't do it by physically imposing himself on him.
He outboxed him, he
Yeah.
outfought him, he had speed, power, and then again against Josh Taylor at junior welterweight, he was the underdog. So he saves his best for his biggest moments.
Yes, and Max, and look, I give Shakur a lot of credit, right? Because we see fighters like Boots Ennis that want to do a tune-up fight at their first fight at the new weight. And like Devin Haney, Shakur saying, I'll go right to the top dog at 140. So props to my best friend, Shakur Stevenson, Max.
Yes.
But look,
What is the beef with you two?
I think it's fun, you know? I think we, I don't think it's real hate.
You
but-
you have this ability to bring out a certain kind of animosity in people in the boxing world. Does this extend to outside the boxing world?
Yeah, it does.
Or
yeah.
It does.
I've had that ability since I've been like 4 years old, Max, and growing up. But look, you asked about Teo. I actually think this fight is about Teofimo more than it is about Shakur Stevenson. And the reason I say that is to what Doug said. When Teofimo Lopez rises to the occasion, he looks like a guy that can't be beat sometimes. And I say it's really about Teo here because Shakur, like you said, he's the favorite, 3.5 to 1 favorite right now. He's the one moving up in weight. And if you look at it stylistically, Shakur, right, he's the better boxer. We've seen Teo have problems with, fast and fleet boxers like Sandor Martin and Jermaine Ortiz. But then you think about sometimes when Teo rises to the occasion, I mean, the odds were close in the Josh Taylor fight, but everyone was picking Josh Taylor that you spoke to in boxing.
Yeah.
And we saw what Teo did to Josh Taylor. We saw what Teo did to Lomachenko. And one of the things that I think that gets lost in that fight against Lomachenko is Teo threw more than 100 punches in the final round to make sure he won that.
Many think Shocker Stevenson will be smaller and weaker. At Ibai Sisherbaumau, letting Teofimo Lopez bully him. Malik Scott shut that down. Shocker has grown stronger. Trained with top fighters like Terrence Crawford and won't be pushed around. His underrated body punches can drain opponents. And if Teofimo can't impose his size by round 3, panic could set in fast.
Shakur is a whole different type of animal. His ring IQ is up there with the best. He's getting literally, I don't know how many times we've seen 2 pound-for-pound fighters sparring each other. Shakur Stevenson is getting top quality work, literally top quality work. And that makes me want to ask, I wonder how he look at his opponents after boxing Bud so many times and always in camp with Bud, and not just in camp with him, sparring him. I'm sure that played a big...
Teofimo Lopez fans should be nervous. Terrence Crawford, Shocker's close friend, didn't just predict. He said Shocker will beat the hell out of Lopez, implying real physical damage. This isn't the cautious running and poking Shocker some expect. His panel noted he might stand in the pocket, trade, and break Lopez down physically. As Doug Fisher said, Shocker has a mean streak if he holds his ground, The fight could turn from a chess match into a street fight. Dangerous. Yes, but that's exactly the statement Shocker wants to make. He's not just skilled, he's dangerous.
Talking about power, strength too. I think Teal's going to be the much stronger guy in there. Shakur Stevenson's not a strong guy.
I think he's getting stronger.
Me too.
Yeah,
I was about to say.
agree.
But this is first fight at 140 though. That's what I'm saying. I'm not disrespecting
I
the
feel like,
strength.
but I also feel like that Shakur might surprise you, Mike, with his physical strength. Physical strength, as we all know, doesn't always translate to punching power.
Sure, of course not.
But when he was a younger fighter, he looked like he could be moved around by his opponent.
Like
It doesn't look like that anymore.
No, he's definitely matured in his body. But first fight at 140, Teal's what? I think this is maybe his fifth fight at 140?
Yeah.
Something like that?
That's true, but Shakur has a frame where he can put on 140 very comfortably. I think he's going to look as strong as Devin Haney did stepping up to
That's right.
147.
I believe so
think he's
too,
going to
Joe.
feel really good at junior.
Max Kellerman made an interesting psychological point. Who really has more to lose? On the surface, it seems like Shocker he's undefeated, the golden child, chasing a perfect legacy like Floyd Mayweather. A loss would instantly shatter his aura of invincibility, and the pressure to stay perfect can be paralyzing. Fighting. Safe against a power puncher, though, is its own risk.
Think about the idea. I look at this fight. Teo has more to lose. Sorry. Shakur has more to lose.
Yeah.
He's the undefeated fighter. He's seen as the eventual pound-for-pound champ potentially. But Teo has more to win. He has more to gain. So on the one hand, is there an advantage there where Shakur is fighting to protect that perfect record, to protect that kind of sense that he's the next guy? On the other hand, Teo is like he can fight with more abandon against Shakur because there's so much for him to gain. And if he loses, he's lost before. He lost to Kambosos, and he came back from that. But oh my God, if he can pull it off. Like, if it's a close fight and Teo could keep it close and we're going into the 10th, 11th, 12th rounds, is there an advantage there given that situation?
He came back from that Kambosos fight, but in some way, the jury is still out on Teo a little bit because I'm going to tell you why. On that card that was done in Times Square, he looked the best out of, with all due respect, out of a lot of people that didn't look good.
Yep.
But if you put him in the main event somewhere, that people wouldn't, to me, really raved about that fight.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? So the jury he still have a lot to prove too. Not as much as Shakur, but he definitely do have a lot to prove still.
Yeah, I agree with you, Max. I think Shakur has more to lose here. Shakur is the one that's thought of as, like you said, pound for pound number one day, maybe some day in the not too distant future. He's the favorite in this fight, bigger favorite than anything any of us anticipated, at around 3.5 to 1. But Teo, look, what I look at here is I think Teofimo, yes, he's had problems with boxers, which scares me for Teo, but I'm going to use your word, Max, fast twitchies.
Yep.
Shakur Stevenson had a lot of problems with Edwin De Los Santos. I think that was a majority decision, and De Los Santos, what does he have? Very twitchy guy, athletic.
And the difference here is that they're both twitchy, they're both fast, they're both excellent boxers. Teo's a puncher. I know it hasn't shown up in recent fights, but we have watched both of their careers. Shakur is not a puncher.
Teofimo, on the other hand, has already tasted defeat and has nothing left to protect. That makes him dangerous. He can fight with reckless abandon, focused only on taking Shocker's head off. A fighter with nothing to lose is willing to take risks a perfect fighter won't. And if Teofimo goes all out in the later rounds, Shocker will have to dig deeper than ever before.